Did you know that when the Roman soldiers, you probably didn't know this because I thought it was great. Roman soldiers, at the time of Jesus, and centuries afterward, when they went out and they conquered their territories, when on their march, they would take cuttings with them. Where they went, they would plant vineyards. And that's why we got all these vineyards on the Mediterranean and up through Europe where the Roman armies went. So that when they got done, they would have plantings and foodstuffs for the next group that came through. And then when they were going back home after so many years of doing their service, they would have food along the way. Food for the journey. Planning ahead. Planting ahead. Today is the second. Barbara did a great job last week, understand, about catching you up with week number 1 about our giving program. This is actually the second time in 7 years I've even mentioned something like this, so you can't say I do it all the time, because it's just plain not true. You have it, you have a study guide. The key verse, no one can serve 2 masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be loyal to the one and have contempt for the others. You cannot serve God and wealth. Abraham Lincoln had 3 speeches, really, that he was known for. He had a lot of them. The second inauguration, the Gettysburg Address, and the one about the House divided. He gave this in 1858, and the Methodist Church had already split by this time over the issue of slavery to the Methodist Church North and Methodist Church South, Methodist Episcopal, and they'd also split too, but the divisions were already there. And Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Lincoln's quoting, of course, Jesus from Mark. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently, half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall. But I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other. Notice, he's talking both about Joshua, about serving other gods. He's talking about God and mammon. You're going to make a choice. What are you going to do? You're going to be all one thing, all the other. Either the opponents of slavery will arrest the further spread of it and place it where the public mind shall rest in the belief that it is the course of ultimate extinction, or its advocates will push it forward till it shall become lawful in all the states, old as well as new, north as well as south. And he quotes Jesus. He sets the expectation for the future, and he charts it that way. This is the future. We're all going to be together on this. This is the future, brothers and sisters. We're all going to be together on whatever issues face us. We will not operate as a house divided. We cannot do it, both as a nation and as a church. Election's over. People spoken. We're moving forward. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. We've got all these things going on, and I've got to tone it down and tie it up because we're short on time. So let me just try this. Who is it? And what is it that has your attention above all things? Who is it and what is it that has your attention above all things? Are you thinking about that? Family, grandchildren, maybe health, maybe retirement, maybe getting by in retirement. What is it that holds your attention? Now, right now, in my late 50s, I'm thinking about retirement, and I'm looking at what that would mean. So I'm thinking about it, but I'm not saving for it. so whatever I'm thinking about it is in direct contrast to what my bank account says I should be. If I was thinking about health and well-being, being overweight and not attending to the gym, I think about doing those things, but then when it gets right down to it, I'm a little weak on action. Anybody else have this issue? There's a habit that you want to break, and whatever it is, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do these things. But have you ever looked at the way you, now, by the way, we are entering, I started about 5 different directions, didn't I? Let me back up. Advent begins the Christian year. Did you know that? Our worship year begins the last Sunday of this month. So we're looking at the new year now. So this is a great time to have this resource in front of you, this where your treasure, and to be thinking about these things. Where is it you're going to spend your time? Where is it that you're spending your money? Have you ever really thought about that? Have you done a budget? Anybody done that? And looked at, okay, good. Yeah, great, one person, that's good. That's good. That's the way I look at it. I got the money, I spend it, it's in the checkbook, let's go. Beth, what's wrong? And Beth says, do you know what you're spending your money on? Well, heavens no. So when you look at it, and you've got these, I want to start eating healthy. I want to eat the right foods. I want to eat food that isn't made in a plant. I want it made by a plant, and not on an assembly line. So I'm thinking, that's what I want to do, is spend my money on that. Have you looked at your grocery bill? I'm buying junk when I want to buy the right stuff. And I'm thinking, oh, we only spend $200-300 a month on food. When you do the math, it's way out there. I'm thinking, wow, I'm just way out of line on that. If you were holding up the things that you wanted to do with your life, does it be with family, be in the Word, be in prayer? Have you done a time inventory at the end of the month and said, this is where I'm spending my time? And have you done that? If these are the things that you value, family, time, faith, time with church, time in love with God, reading, reflecting, meditating, being involved in the Word, are these the things that you're doing? You say, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to serve the Lord. I want to do that. And then if you look at the end of the month and you go, whoa, I say that I value this, but my time is spent doing this. Does that happen to you, Lou? Never. Thank you. I'm sorry. Yes, wrong person. Yeah. So, why is it that I say these things that I treasure and I want to do it, but at the end I'm not doing it? Now, I want to try to make a leap here. The oil that the bridesmaids gather together to use. I would say that fill your flask, but you might think different things. I'll say fill the lamp. Fill the lamp with that oil. And Jay, when I'm talking about the oil, I'm talking about those things that we really want and we believe in and that we want to do. We want a relationship with God, and that's what we want to put in that oil. We want time with family, friends. We want a heart that is tuned. We want a heart, like Ezekiel says, a heart that's turned from stone to flesh, and we want that heart to be kind of poured into that. And we want that kind of a relationship so that if we're centered on the Christ, and that's where our treasure is, and we poured it into that oil. And so when the dark times come, when time comes, how easy is it to practice mercy right like that? Can you practice mercy? Can you be a peacemaker with somebody you don't like for 24 hours? Yeah, just don't avoid them. Can you get peace in the family, squabbling kids? Yeah, I could separate them. I could throw them out in the trampoline. Say, yeah, go, separate, truce, time out, boom. We do that with nations. We do that with relationships. We do that with our neighbors. We kind of push them off to the side. But are we actually becoming peacemakers in the long term? Are we filling the lamp with the oil of peace and mercy for the long haul? We can do it for the short term every once in a while. But for the long haul, are we doing that? As you look at your year ahead, where is it that you're putting your treasure? Where is it that you're pouring your oil into? And if it's out of line, if you're divided, get right. It causes stress. It causes, you don't sleep well. Let's hope that it diseases your complacency. That's my prayer for you. That you recognize, as Joshua pointed out to the children of Israel, and as his voice and that truth speaks to us today, who are you serving really? Who is it? As Jesus says, can you serve two masters? No. They're going to fight, they're going to conflict, and then one will take over the other. Are you planting? I'm going to make another leap here with the heart, with the plantings, and with the future, and with the present. What do you treasure that you are now planting for your return trip home? What are you planting that's going to nourish you on the way? Here are some plantings, bread, juice, the Spirit of Christ present. In this space, in this holy space, at this altar, there is food for the journey. Christ has prepared us for that and provisioned us in this way. Food for the journey home. Here, when we kind of misstep, we get a reboot. Here it is. Take it in. It is for you. The presence of the Christ. Holy. And we share this altar table with all our foreparents in the faith that have gone on before us. And they sit with us and they enjoy it with us. You know that? We are connecting with our past, our present, and our ultimate home with the Spirit that is present here. That's what we do. It isn't just words. We serve a jealous God. It isn't just words. It demands our whole attention. What is it that your heart truly desires? Is it a new car? Something that'll rust and wear out and you got to replace the tires on and all that stuff. That is where, if that's what you really want, that's where your heart is. And you are a house divided as a Christian. Do you want a relationship with the Christ? And if it's not foremost, you are a house divided as a Christian. And hopefully you are diseased in your complacency over that. Because just looking at us, it's hard to tell if we're wise or foolish. I look in the mirror and I think, am I wise or foolish today? Have I done what I need to do? Have I spent the time in the Word? Have I reflected on it? Am I going to practice mercy again today and show it? Or did I do it yesterday and that's good enough? You cannot serve two masters. Jeremiah, the reading that you have, the scripture that you have, talks about serving God with your whole heart. And as you serve God with your whole being, and you seek after God with your whole being, your heart, your faith, your future, your treasure is inclined into that, God will let you find Him. Amazing. That's the funny math and calculus of the Spirit. As you seek, God will allow God's self Himself to be found. The table awaits. But don't do it if you're not focused. Don't do it if you're not. Choose this day. Choose this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Come to the table.